welcome to the podcast. So what I learned last week is divided into three subheadings. There's economics, there's psychology, there is the law of attraction, and then there is sales. So some of the books that inspired this episode are, the first book is The Little Book of Economics by a guy called Sean Rusk. The other one is The Money and the Law of Attraction by Esther and Jerry Hicks. And then the third one is The Rest is History by Tom Holland and Dominic Sandbrook. So great books, and then let's get into the things that I learned from the books and how you and I can apply them into our lives, into our business, so that we live a more qualitative lives as humans. Okay. The first thing that I learned, I start with economics, is about the marginal cost. So the author says that marginal is the addition of one, whether it is the cost of producing one more item or on the profit from employing one more person. Now this is interesting. Now, but in the digital world, according to Naval said this beautifully. He said that in those days, they tell us that the forces of creating wealth is land, labor, and capital. But in this world, what really you need now is people, you need code, you need media. You don't need land to create wealth anymore. You don't really need labor to create wealth anymore. Artificial intelligence and AI can create all of that for you. But it says that the marginal cost for digital products, the marginal cost of growing your digital assets is zero. Let's say, for example, I'm doing a Zoom training right now, and 500 people are paid to be in my Zoom training. If 501 person, if one more person says they want to join the class, the marginal cost of that person to me in my business is totally zero. This is why you can scale your digital assets really, really, really fast. That's why you must understand media, you must understand code, you must understand artificial intelligence, because you can scale rapidly. Actually, you can run a one-man business without a staff anywhere, contract all of the things out, outsource all the things out, and still make a shit ton of money. All right, so that is the first thing that I learned there, which is very, very important. The other thing I learned from economics in the book is that human needs are limited, but human wants are unlimited. So what are our human needs? Our human needs are, basic human needs are shelter, heat, and clothing. However, but on the other hand, we have unlimited wants. All right, so unlimited wants, you want to live in a bigger house, a nice house, that's a want. That's not really a need. You can live without that. You want to wear a Christian Louboutin shoes, that's a want. It's not a need. You can live without the Christian Louboutin shoe, just a basic shoe, and you'll be fine. So as an entrepreneur, the rich, if you want to sell to the rich or the successful people, you sell to their wants, you don't sell to their need. Because if you look at Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of need, all right, when people have satisfied their need for shelter and for food, they are looking for wants. They want a more expensive shoe, they want a more expensive bag, they want a Prada bag. So you got to trigger their wants. They want status. They want to be on top of the pecking order in their families, in their work, in anything that they do. So you sell to people's wants, to rich people. You sell to poor people's needs. That is a very, very powerful distinction that you should make. Very, very important. So, and also what that also tells me is that if you are selling a product, right, you want to communicate how that product can satisfy the wants of the buyer, not just the need of the buyer. Because people buy products to make money. People buy to save money. People buy to save time. So you want to communicate in exactitude how your product and your service can help them make money, save money, or get status in the society that they exist in. Did you get that? So that's critically important. All right. So let's get into psychology. Before we get into psychology, this episode of the Paul Fool Podcast is sponsored by Sales Factory WhatsApp community. I have a community where I teach sales and marketing like this every single day, Monday to Friday. I teach a lesson Monday to Friday. We do a book review on the 15th of every month. I give a challenge, like today, I give them a challenge of making sales calls to their customers and getting better at it. And just a community of learning life together. It's 15,000 naira a quarter. That's like $10 a quarter. Covers you for 3 months. To join us, you click on the link on the show notes to join us. You can do a 1-year plan. That is the first one, right? And also, if you like the podcast and you want to place an advert in this podcast, please send me an email to hey@paulfool.com. hey@paulfoh.com. Let's continue, which is psychology. Next one is on psychology. This is interesting. I got this from The Mental Models by Shane Parrish. Here's what he said. He says, sometimes making good decisions boils down to avoiding bad ones. I call this inversion thinking. It was Charlie Munger that said that sometimes don't just look for wisdom, just avoid stupidity. In other words, don't even think about, how you're going to make money or how you're going to make sales. Just ask yourself, what are the things that will prevent me from making sales? And just do the opposite of those things. Just avoid stupidity, because you see, the downside of stupidity and stupid behavior is unlimited. We see superstars, basketball players, celebrities who do really, really dumb things, and they come back to haunt them later on. I was telling people in my WhatsApp group that you are being watched. This world that we're living in, people are watching us. Really, the thing of secret is an illusion. It doesn't really exist. It doesn't really exist, because whatever you do in the secret, very, very soon it will come to the open, and ensure that whatever comes to the open will not reduce your dignity. All right. So, to achieve success is my natural birthright, says the author. He said that most people naturally assume that if their life is not going the way they want it to go, something outside of themselves must be preventing the improvement. For no one will deliberately hold their own success away. But while pointing the blame at others may feel better than assuming responsibility for unwanted conditions, there is a very big negative repercussion for believing that something outside of you is the reason for your lack of success. This is very, very powerful. When you assume responsibility for your life, you have taken back your power. When you assume responsibility for your life, you are taking back your power. And, when you assume responsibility for your life, you will figure out a way to solve your own problems. Because at the end of the day, really, nobody is coming to the rescue. Nobody is coming to the rescue. You are on your own in this world. It is you and your God. I don't know about you. I believe in the Bible. I believe in Jesus Christ. So I believe there's me and the Lord Jesus. All right. And that my actions today will determine my outcomes tomorrow. And that if I am on the offensive, if I take more action every single day, I will disproportionately increase the odds that good things will come my way. And that's why I'm putting out this episode, for example. I don't know who's going to listen to this podcast. I don't know who may listen to this podcast and say, you know what, we want to place an advert for our company on this podcast because we like what we're hearing. I don't know who will listen to this podcast and send me an email and say, I like what you're doing. Let us collaborate together. I can't control that. The only thing I can control is that I'm going to record this podcast when my kids are in school, my wife is at work, this is my studio, and I'm working from home. I can't control that. I'm going to edit it to the best of my knowledge, and I'm going to put it out into the world and pray and trust God that I serve, that something is going to happen off the back of that. All right. The other thing that I learned this week that is so important is from this book. It's very, very powerful. It's very prophetic. There was something that Winston Churchill said when he was in a secondary school, in a school called Harrow. This is what he said. He was telling his friend. He said that I can see vast changes coming over a now peaceful world. Great upheavals, terrible struggles, wars such as one cannot imagine, he said. But I tell you, I shall be in command of the defenses of London. I shall save London and England. This is what Winston Churchill said. He said this years and years, even before he became a prime minister. And those words became a reality. So I wanna encourage you to know that, listen, like seriously, like, your words create your world. Your words create your world. I think it was Pastor Bojo Yemade that put up a video in his Instagram channel, and I thought that was very, very powerful. I think he put out a video of a comedian by the name of Sinbad. Sinbad is a big comedian in America, but I mean, in his day, he was a top gun. Now we have people like Kevin Hart, and Sinbad he has stroke. I don't know if he's free from the stroke now, but he was saying that, you know, as a comedian, he was toying with the word stroke a lot. He was playing with it, was using it, you know, in his comedy, that he's gonna get stroke or something like that. But now he has a stroke. And he was saying that, you know, you got to be careful what you say. I think it was Nas that even said, don't speak about death. There's power in your words. You know, so you want to live your life knowing that, listen to me, what you say have magnetic powers. The words that you use on a predominant basis have the power to influence your life. Let me drink some water here. It does have power to influence your life. So because you know that, you want to be selective of the words that you say, because even the scripture says that life and death is in the power of your tongue. Your words create your world. So I don't know about you, I ensure that every day I speak words that have power to transform and change my life. And that has helped me to become the kind of man that I am today. I mean, I say every day I have a great marriage. I say every day I'm a great father. I say every day I'm a great husband. I say those words every single day. Perhaps, maybe that has helped me in my 17 years of happy marriage to my best friend and to my wife. Be careful what you say. Be careful what you say. And then on sales, what are some of the things that I learned from sales? Again, this episode of the Paul Ford podcast was powered by Sales Factory. My WhatsApp group is 15,000 naira to join the WhatsApp group for 3 months. Come and learn and network with other entrepreneurs from all over the world. We are over 400 people in the community. You will hear my voice every day. You will even get to get my number because you are in the community. Right. And if you want me to work with you, want me to work with your company, want me to come and do sales training for your company, send me an email. My email is hey@paulford.com. I'm going to put it in the show notes as well. And if you want coaching, click on the link in the show notes and get that. If you're watching this on YouTube, please smash and click on the subscribe button. Watch it to the end. Write a comment. Share this with your friends and family members. And I'm excited that we just hit 4,000 subscribers on YouTube. We're close to hitting 1,000 subscribers on Spotify. We just hit 60,000 followers on Instagram. So I want to say thank you for all the support and all the love that you guys have been showing to me. So what did I learn in terms of sales? Okay, so in terms of sales, what did I learn in terms of sales? It says that salespeople, successful salespeople are unstoppable prospectors. This is from Jeb Blunt. They are obsessive about keeping their pipeline full of qualified prospects. You see, they prospect anywhere and anytime, constantly turning over rocks and looking for their next opportunity. They prospect day and night, unstoppable and always on fire. This is important. I prospect every day. There is no day I don't ask somebody to buy my product or my service. I've already prospected to you twice today. You know, I don't care whether you buy. I want that to sink in. I don't care whether you purchase anything from me, but I'll do what I have to do. You may not buy today, you'll buy tomorrow, because I'll keep asking. In fact, there's a scriptural law. Jesus said, ask and it will be given to you. Seek, you will find. Knock, the door will be open unto you. The reason why many people don't make sales is because they really do not even ask people to buy from them. Just ask. What will it cost you to ask somebody to buy your product or your service, to patronize you, to drop a comment, to subscribe? The downside of asking is very limited. What's the worst that will happen? They'll tell you no, or they will ignore it. It will stop you from having dinner tonight. But what's the upside of asking? The upside of asking is that it may literally change your life. It may literally change your life. I mean, I interviewed Mr. Dakbo Willis the other day, and off the back of that interview, I hit 4,000 subscribers because I asked, and I kept on asking him. I kept on emailing him. I kept on DMing him before he said yes to come on my podcast. I asked, are you asking enough? Are you asking enough? And do you stay with the ask? It's one thing to ask, but it's another thing to ask and stay with the ask. Some people ask for 20 minutes and then they stop. Some people ask for 10 minutes and then they quit. That's not going to cut it, honey. It's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it. How badly do you want it? It depends how much you ask. When you're obsessed about your asks, when you wake up in the morning, that's what you write about as your goal. As you're walking down the street, you're visualizing it. You're talking to somebody about it. Because anything you talk about is alive. Anything you don't talk about is dead. I'll say it again. Any dream you talk about becomes alive in your soul, becomes alive in your world, because words attract things to you. Any dream you don't talk about is dead. So have the habit of talking about your dreams to the right people, or talking about it to yourself. The most important person to talk about your dream to is to yourself. I don't know about, I've said it, I'm going to have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to have 100,000 downloads on Spotify. I don't know about it, but I'll keep saying it. I keep saying I'm going to appear on some of the biggest podcasts in the world. Steve Bartlett, Diary of a CEO, call all the big podcasts in the world. I'm going to be on those podcasts. I'm going to keep saying it. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm sending the energy to the atmosphere. I said I'm going to interview some of the biggest entrepreneurs in Africa. Ige Mokwede, Tony Lumelu, the big names all over the world. I will keep saying it because words have power. Ask and it shall be given unto you. Got it? You want to fill up your sales pipeline, because a filled pipeline is confidence. A filled up pipeline. I don't know how to put this, but how do you survive without a pipeline that is not filled up? It's terrible, isn't it? Fill up your sales pipeline. Send somebody a DM. Call somebody. Do an Instagram live. Do a webinar. Ask. The future belongs to the people, the men and the women who ask for exactly what it is that they want. I hope this episode of the Paul Foh podcast was useful to you, because I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm expecting some new guests next week for the episode. So share this with your friends. If you have not tapped the subscribe button on Spotify, please tap the subscribe button on Spotify. Leave a comment. Send me a DM on Instagram. I'll share it if you're enjoying this. If you're watching this on YouTube, smash the subscribe button, write a comment, and share it with somebody. And thank you very much, and God bless you. Do have a fantastic week. One more thing. I write in an email every single week. It's free email. I have close to 15,000 people that read my email every week. It's called The Foh Letters. The link is in the bio. Click on it, and I'm going to give you a review of some books that I've read in the past. You would love it. God bless you.